What's up, heroes? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Unleashed Heroes. Today is finally the day we are experiencing Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Oh, I've been looking forward to this for so long. 4 years in the making since we walked out of the cinema back in 2017 when we saw that film, and everyone walked out of it kind of thinking that wasn't the film that we were promised. That wasn't the film that was shown to us in the trailers, and we knew that Snyder's vision was not represented on screen. So we knew that hands down, and my heart bled when I heard about what happened in his family. But I'm so grateful that the campaign to release the Snyder Cut worked. It just means that us as fans, we all have a voice. And when it comes to releasing our director's vision of what he wants without any interference from the studio, this is what we get. And the reviews for this film have already surpassed and already pretty much blanketed everything that the 2017 version has done. I am super excited to check this film out. Going in, my expectations. You want to know what my expectations are? I just want to be amazed. I want to be transported into a different universe that is DC. I want to have more connections to certain characters. Now, I wasn't a big fan of how they represented the Flash in the 2017 version, so I really hope I get a bit more of a connection to what the Flash character, what Barry Allen actually is. And it goes around to across all three other characters. A bit more. I haven't always been a big fan of Cyborg, but I want to know a bit more about him. Want to know what drives him, what more than just being a bit more depressed about him being an experiment of what his father did. So I want to know a bit more about that. And above all else, I want to see my man, Henry Cavill, Superman, back in action. The fact that he's wearing the black suit is just on a whole other level. Like, yes, we love him in the red and blue, white and blue suit, and that's amazing, and it's awesome as it always will be. But being him to change that up and go into the black suit, I'm really looking forward to it. So as long as they do him justice and being able to experience Wonder Woman again, I'm just super excited. So I don't want to go any more further. I'm going to check out this film, and then when we come back, you'll hear my thoughts. I'll see you soon. And we're back. I've just finished watching Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Wow. That was a bloody experience. I kind of lost for words for things. So I did something that I haven't done before. I actually took notes. So I wrote down, so you're going to bear with me for a lot of this, but this is just my thoughts on the film. So I pretty much put down some notes when I was watching the film. I was on my phone, making sure I was still taking the entire film in, but certain key points that I liked, I was making notes about it so I can refer back to. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. So I walked into it thinking that Hans Zimmer was still going to do the score for it. And I was actually surprised when I was watching the opening credits that Hans Zimmer didn't actually do the credits. So it was interesting to see the different tone of music, and it was very different to what I was expecting it to be. It wasn't as grand. I was at some point, like, yes, we saw the Wonder Woman theme being there a little bit when she was battling Steppenwolf that first time in the tunnel, but the original score that is Hans Zimmer wasn't really in there. So that's one thing I would have liked to have seen Hans Zimmer do that, but I understand different things have to happen in that instance. So I was very much interested in that. So the one thing that took me straight off the bat was the camera ratio. The fact that they shortened it and it wasn't actually a wide screen, which I thought was a very risky take, but at the same time, it was the vision that Zack Snyder did. And I really was impressed by that kind of decision, because it kind of transported you and into the universe in a whole completely different way. And that was very, very good. So I actually like that. Yeah, it took me a bit to get used to the fact that it was just a short ratio, but after a while we actually get immersed in the story and everything. It kind of like, it just made the whole much more grittier, which I really liked. Going into like certain key points with the film, like I'm very much about seeing certain quotes that hit home to me. And one of the things I actually really liked was in the beginning when Diana was stopping the terrorists in the sort of bank, and building kind of thing. And once she saved everyone, the little girl pretty much, when she kneels down and she goes, "Oh, are you right? Are you right?" And the little girl just goes, "Can I be like you someday?" And Diana just looked at her and said, "You can be anything you want to be." And that just was amazing, and it just shows what Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, is as a character. And that's why she's always been, holds a special place. Like, yes, she's beautiful, she kicks ass, and she's great and everything, but the principles that Wonder Woman stands for, and that's what everything, I think, goes back to what Wonder Woman stands for. Everyone loves to go back to why they love her so much, is what she stands for and what her values are. And I think that's the same reason why Superman resonates to everything, because yes, everyone thinks that he's the goody two-shoes, but he stands for something, and that's what people hold on to. And I think that's really, really good. And that little moment just showed us a glimpse, and it was such a beautiful moment, and it hit me really hard, so I had to make a note of that. It was absolutely incredible watching that. And then from there, we get our first official good experience from Steppenwolf, redone and visually and everything, and top notch. I did see photos of him when they released it for this cut, but watching him in action and seeing that visuals for Steppenwolf was way up here. Like, that was just incredible watching him doing what he was doing, and it was just like a whole other level. And the voice, even though it sounded a bit similar, it made it a little deeper, a little more raspy, and it made it a lot more menacing. And oh yeah, they hit the ball out of the park when it comes to Steppenwolf. They made him look very, very menacing. And another thing, going back to those quotes and things like that, it was amazing. It was an amazing moment when you got the Amazons are trying to tackle on Steppenwolf, and they're going in there, and then you got the Queen pretty much looking at them and saying, "Showing your fear," and then all the Amazons chant together, "We have no fear." That was just, oh, I had chills, absolute chills when I heard that, and it was just heartbreaking when they're all dying for this whole one cause to try and protect this mother box, making sure that Steppenwolf doesn't get a hands on it. And it was just incredible watching that. That was absolutely incredible. And then you go on to, from there you go into part 2. It does, from here you can pretty much tell this film does feel completely different to what it was before. And understanding how the different tone and the different way things are moving and things like that is, you can, as soon as you hit past part 1, you know very much, yep, this is going to be a completely different experience, different type of filmmaking, everything. So, and then with that being said, you got as well, you understand that Steppenwolf isn't the big bad. Like, even though, yes, he's the main protagonist of the entire film, Darkseid, he is the villain behind the shadows. He's the one behind the curtain, behind the thing. So Steppenwolf is under his command, and this is what Steppenwolf was doing all this for. He wants to get back into his graces and being able to redeem himself. So that does show the whole different tone of the whole film, which I really, really loved. The one thing I would have liked when I was watching the battle scene and for the Age of Heroes scenes, and you get a glimpse of someone from the Green Lantern Corps, I would have loved to have seen Hal Jordan or the Green Lanterns a lot more shown in it, but I understand they couldn't do as much as they wanted to do. And I know Zack said he would have loved to have brought in Ryan Reynolds back into the film, but there was only so much he can do when he had to work with. I know he did reshoots and things like that, but there's only so much someone can do. Yeah, even though I was like, yeah, I would have loved to have seen it, I understand certain things about how that process works. I wasn't really annoyed about it. I was going, okay, well, I would have loved to have seen it, but still, being able to still glimpse the Green Lantern Corps in that little scene, it worked. I understand that point as well. And then you move on from that. Going into part 3, when you finally get introduced to the Flash, Barry Allen. Now, when I first watched the 2017 version, I wasn't a fan of Ezra Miller's portrayal of him. So I thought he was too kiddie, didn't do much justice to the film. He didn't show much of him being a scientist and that kind of stuff. So I kind of walked out and going, well, that really wasn't the Flash that I knew. Yes, granted, I don't know much about the Flash when it comes to a lot of things because I don't read the comics. I'm a big fan of entertainment in regards to films and TV. So I can only go off what I read, what I watch on the TV show, which I am a big fan of. But going into this one, I was just had expectations about, I want to have a good representation of the Flash. I definitely got it. absolutely got the reputation of the Flash that I wanted, and that kind of stuff. So the visuals of the introducing the Flash, and just when you see Iris West, even though it's only a short moment with her, as soon as Flash turns in, like Barry just turns it on, and then that visual shot of his shoes just shredding, and then him just slowly going out and saving Iris. Yes, I do think that scene kind of dragged on a little bit, but that visual shot of showing just how quick Barry Allen actually is was top notch. I love that scene as well. So, and then moving on to that, this film filled in a lot of blanks regarding that, because in the last film, Steppenwolf was he just turns up. But now you actually find out that he's actually doing a lot of things in the background, finding out where the mother boxes are, which fills in a lot of blanks that he's not just popping up out of nowhere. He's actually trying to find out where they are, and then he's going after them. So I like the fact that they were showing Steppenwolf going after people, getting information, finding out where they are, and then going there and pretty much taking it. So I did enjoy that. Now the one thing, like, no movie is perfect. I do believe that. No movie is 100% perfect. There's always going to be little flaws, and there's always going to be little things that we nitpick at. The one thing I wasn't a big fan of, and I know Zack Snyder is very famous for this, but which I'm not a huge fan of, is the slow-mo shots. There was a lot of slow-mo shots in this film. I do agree that, yes, they are warranted for dramatic effect at certain moments, but I got to part three of the film, and I was getting kind of over it a little bit. And then, especially when it got to Cyborg's kind of backstory with him at the football game, I was going, okay, we get it. A lot of slow-mo shots. I get it makes more dramatic effect, but do we need to have as many as we do? Can we just have the same speed? So, but that's just my opinion. I know everyone has different opinions about that kind of stuff, but I kind of think that they kind of went overboard a little bit with the slow-mo shots, but didn't really take away too much from the film. I still got into the story and that kind of stuff as well. But going in, that leads me on to the next point as well. It's showing you that that actually gives you a lot more insight to a Cyborg, and that's what I wanted to experience. That is, I wanted to have a lot more character development for the Flash. I want to have more character development for Cyborg. These are the characters that were missed, I think, and I believe that they gave me a bit more of understanding of what Cyborg was, what Victor Stone was there for, why he was a bit more angry at his father, and that gave me backstory, the fact that he was always working, never around, never at the football games, and then when he had that scene with his mum in the car, fact that she said, "Oh, I know you're always busy, but you always make the time," and his father's always busy. So given that understanding, that explanation of that, it gave me a bit more understanding of why he was the way he was against his father, and why he was a bit more cold about what had happened to him. So when I watched the first one, not the first one, but the theatrical cut, I didn't actually buy into his character very well. I didn't really like it. But now I've got more understanding, and I actually do enjoy watching Cyborg at certain times, at certain parts of the movie, which I actually did enjoy as well. But we're saying that going more forward with Cyborg is like, it's going a bit more into like his character in the generosity he actually has. He has a moment in the film which hit me really hard here. He was visualizing all these different people on his screens and everything. And he got this mother and child he knew was struggling, and he just, because of what he can do, he's learning a bit about his abilities and things like that. And he dumped into the ATM and gave this lady $100,000, and that generosity was just amazing to see. And it gets getting a glimpse of, yes, Victor has gone through a massive ordeal. He's gone through a lot, but his heart is always going to be in the right place. And I think that's what makes a hero. It's not the abilities you have, it's what person you are and what you're doing to help the others around you. And so that kind of moment really was amazing to see, and I really enjoyed that. And then moving into the last part of part 3, you saw a little bit of it in the theatrical cut, but I like to see the fact that I had an extended scene with just Diana and Alfred, because Alfred kind of gets shown away in a lot of these movies. He's pretty much the backup person, and he doesn't get the limelight that he has, because this is the person who raised Bruce Wayne after his parents got killed. So he doesn't get enough credit, and that's one of the things I loved about the Christopher Nolan films. Yes, they're amazing and everything, but it also gives a good arc to Alfred, and he's the the backbone of Bruce Wayne. He's always there for him. He's always going to be the father figure for him. And the fact that I had a little more scenes with Alfred in that, done by Jeremy Irons, the fact I got little scenes here and there with him, I was really enjoying watching those scenes and having those little intimate scenes here and there from the characters that I didn't get to have before. I actually really enjoyed that as well. So that was amazing to see. Moving into part 4. Yeah, so pretty much, this is where the thing kicks in, I believe. It really goes into the latter part of the film when the action kicks in, and this is where we begin to have that tunnel scene, and just proves a lot of things that the visuals and the action is where Zack Snyder can really do a lot of justice and really do a lot of grit and great action. One of the moments that I picked from that scene, and this is even before everything started, Steppenwolf just looks at Diana, and does this quotes and everything, and then Diana just looks and goes, "I belong to no one," and then it just kicks in, and it was amazing. That theme, it always gets me. That love, the guitar and everything, and then just hearing Diana say that quote and just go for it, I was just going, yes, go Diana, I'm with you, I am with you, awesome, that's great. That entire scene is just amazing, and it was also with that as well. It kind of shows a bit more about the characters and what the abilities they can do, and not just Diana. It finally gives us an insight of the Flash's abilities, and not just being the scaredy cat that he was in the theatrical cut, which I really didn't like. He was part of the team. He was there, yeah. So we spent around. He helped defend all the people getting out of the tunnel before Victor blew away the last stone. He was helping people and running around and all that kind of stuff. So I was actually really glad to see Flash contributing to the team and being the Flash that we all knew and love. And that was just amazing to see. And then moving away from the action side of thing, which I thought it was amazing and all that kind of stuff. I've been reading a lot of things about Amy Adams and betrayal of Lois Lane, that she wasn't, her representation of the connection she has with Henry Cavill and the chemistry she has isn't believable. I personally disagree with that. I believe Amy Adams is an amazing actress, and I believe her relationship and her chemistry with Henry is very, very believable. And you can tell how beautiful that actress is when it comes to how she portrays loss. Like, we only get a few scenes with Amy Adams, which is, I do believe, is a shame, because I am a sucker for romance. I do love my those kind of films as well. I'm not just about superheroes and action. I do love my romantic comedies and things like that. So watching the loss that Amy betrayed was very touching and beautiful, and it hit me a lot harder than I thought it would. And just her going through that, and just shows that the depth of love that Lois has for Clark, and it was amazing to see, and it was beautiful. And yeah, so whoever thinks that, and that just kind of moves on to when they goes into like the different dynamics between the different characters and that kind of stuff. She is very versatile in what she can do, and that pretty much leads on to how that conversation had with Martha when she came in towards the end of that part, and had that conversation, and then found out that Lois hasn't gone back to the Daily Planet because she can't deal with it because of Clark. That scene hit me really much. And then the bombshell, which I think is one of the biggest parts, Martian Manhunter. Holy crap! I did not expect to see any more characters than I already have, but the fact that Zack put in the Martian Manhunter, I was like, oh my god! Oh my god! This is amazing! I was like jumping out of my chair. I was going, yes, Martian Manhunter. We have another character which we loved. I fell in love with Martian Manhunter ever since I watched Supergirl, and that character of John Jones. Yes, it is very much a beloved character, and I'm really the fact that we got to see a representation of the Martian Manhunter in this film, and the fact that we got to see him right in the middle, like a going glimpse, and went, oh, he's there, oh, unbelievable, and then right at the end when he talks to Bruce, just wow. Zack, you delivered. You absolutely delivered on this, and the fact that you're giving these little Easter eggs for certain things, I commend you, mate. This is absolutely incredible, and yeah, it's just wow. Yeah, just wow. So going into that part, and then like I was saying before, when it comes to Diana and Alfred, I got a scene with just Diana and Arthur talking about the Amazons, talking about the Atlanteans and things like that, and having that little moment scene with them was actually very vital. Like, so yes, I love the grand gesture of the action scenes and that kind of stuff, but these little moments between the characters, just a glimpse of the character developments and things like that, and where they are at a certain point in the story, just having these little moments between Diana and Arthur and Diana and Alfred, and you got these little moments here and there about these different characters. I really got sucked into those kind of moments, and it just gave me a warm feeling that these characters I've loved for quite a long time, and see them represented in this way was just was beautiful, absolutely incredible and beautiful, and I really loved it, and it was really good. So I commend that kind of stuff. So, and in that same scene, leading up to that point, we never actually please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but we haven't in the films had someone call Diana Wonder Woman. She hasn't been called that. And the fact that Barry, while digging up Superman's grave, calls her Wonder Woman was just like, holy crap, Wonder Woman, that's awesome. Instead of Barry's doing it, saying, oh, do you think she would date a younger guy? I went, right. And then someone did you realize how old she actually is? So that kind of gave me a little giggle in that aspect. But that's one of the things I would have liked a bit more at this film. It was a very dark tone film. It was a very serious film. These serious films need some points of laughter, and I didn't believe I got many of them, and they were all represented through the Flash. The Flash is supposed to be the lighthearted of the characters, and I think out of the entire film, I think I giggled maybe twice, maybe 3 times in total. So it wasn't a big comedy fest, which I understand. It's supposed to be a serious tone film, but we need to break up those little serious tones a little bit, I think, in my opinion. So that was really good. And then from there, we go into the part 6, where it almost comes into a climax. We hit the battle scene and we resurrect Superman, and we go into Clark coming back, Superman. Man, the fact that they took it that long, like I was waiting all film, going, okay, I want my man back, I want my Superman. And then when they brought him back in that scene about when he comes out of the capsule and they fight him in the plaza, I didn't like originally in the theatrical cut, but this scene was so much better. And then, yeah, just having that scene, and then all of a sudden you just see the backstory of that all them trying to get together, and then you see Batman just turn up, and you just see Clark's just visual on him going, like, I'm going to kill you. And then Lois just, and the fact that it's not like in the theatrical cut, you see that Bruce is the one that calls Lois, but in this one version, which I thought was done so much better, like you can tell they set it up, the fact that she always goes to the memorial every morning. She goes there with a cup of coffee, gets it to the cop, and then she goes there. And then leading up to this battle, she goes there and pretty much saying, I'm saying goodbye, I have to let go of Clark, I need to move on. And the fact when she's walking away, that's when she sees Clark in the air. And that's what brings it back. It's so much better when it comes to the development. And the fact that when she just walks up and goes, Clark, and she just looks at her, and the love that he has for Lois and the love Lois has for Clark is what kind of snaps him back. And it was just, yeah, my heart was bleeding for that moment. It was just what I was waiting for. I'm a sucker for romance. I love it. And just seeing those two back together. And that's when it leads into the scene with them in the meadow outside Clark Farm, the Kent Farm. It was just shows like they do have chemistry. They very much do. And they had the love for each other. And it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And then moving on from there, you get the reunion moment with his mum coming back, and then Clark pretty much saying to him, I have to go. They brought me back for a reason. I've got a second chance. I don't want to waste it. And then he goes back into his spaceship, and we are introduced to the black Superman suit. Wow. Like, yes, I love my blue and red suit. It's always been a favorite of mine. I love the Man of Steel suit. I love it when Batman vs Superman, but seeing him in this black suit was incredible. I know from the comics, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I know he dons a black suit because that helps him restore to his full capabilities. It draws in a lot more of the radiation, so he can pretty much come back to his full strength. So the fact that they didn't put that in this one, the fact that he chose the black suit was a good touch as well. So I did enjoy that as well. So that, and then when he comes, and then he pretty much comes into the battle scene, and then you see them all come together and they tackle into this fight scene at the end, and it's so much more on a grander scale, and it's so epic, and it's great. The Flash is doing amazing stuff. He's the one who's running around. He's showing how much he has for that kind of, has much power he has. He's going around super fast to build that power charge to help Victor separate the mother boxes and that kind of stuff. So it's incredible, absolutely incredible to see the Flash utilize his full strength, and being able to, and just showing the complexity of what that character development is and that kind of stuff as well. So, and then understanding all that battle scene goes into, and then pretty much because of what happened to Barry, you got pretty much get hit and he fell over and that kind of stuff, and then the end of the world kind of happening, and then we just introduced to the very questionable moves of Barry turning back time. Now, this is a meme I've seen on Facebook and online so much time. Granted, because of the CW or Fox 8 or the Flash show, you do not mess with time, because time messes back, which constantly gets done on the Flash. You know that if there's going to be something screwed up happening, it's 9 times out of 10 it's going to be because of the Flash is screwing up time for some stupid reason. But then you got in this film that he's going back and he's running around and he's monologuing himself to try and get his back into it. And then he just brings it back just in enough time to give the power box a surcharge. And then Victor pretty much gets him parked, brings in Superman, and then they break it. And then the fact that with that it being done, the portal is open and you see Darkseid. And he's there. And then you just have a good representation. You know what? Earth is going to be the battleground, and we have our heroes. We have Superman. We have Wonder Woman. We have Aquaman. We have the Flash. We have Batman. We have Cyborg. And there's going to be many more to come. And pretty much just showing the Darkseid that if you want to come to us, we will be here. We are united. We are the Justice League. And pretty much looking at it and pretty much give him that reassurance that yes, he pretty much said, yep, we're going to do it the old way. We're going to go back to Earth, kind of setting up if there would be another one. But he knows that there is going to be a battle on his hands if he goes back to Earth. There is going to be Kryptonium, there's going to be Amazon, there's going to be Atlanteans. We're going to fight, and you're going to lose. So that's what I really loved about it. And then we go into the epilogue. So this is where fandom kind of reached a whole-time peak, because I was already on a whole-time peak at this point, because I was just blown away for what I've already seen so far. And then this epilogue just kicked in, and we saw the scene with Martian Manhunter with Bruce and all that kind of stuff. And then we go into the future dream sequence with Bruce, where we see Mira, which is Arthur's girlfriend, pretty much saying that, yeah, Arthur's pretty much been hit. We see the Flash in that futuristic suit that we saw in Batman vs. Superman. We see Deadshot there, which, love that. Love the scene with him and Jason Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. That was a great scene. I really enjoyed that. And then seeing him in that. And then, the scene stealer, that is Jared Leto's Joker. That entire scene, I was just transfixed. I was like this. I was going, please be better. I'm going to Joker, here we go. Because I was not a huge fan of Suicide Squad. I loved it for the fact that we got to see Harley Quinn. She has been one of my favorite villains in the DC universe. I love her with the Joker. But the representation of the Joker was not done to my liking in the Suicide Squad, because he's a jealous boyfriend, which is not what the Joker is supposed to be. I got a lot more out of Jared Leto's Joker in this one scene than I did the entire film that is the Suicide Squad, which just shows a testament to, one, Jared Leto taking direction from his director, and Zack Snyder's writing and directing. Just proving that Jared Leto does have what it takes to represent a good Joker. And that one scene with him and Batman, him and Bruce Wayne, just shows what he can do. And just proves that we can get a good Joker and Batman with Jared Leto and Bruce and Ben Affleck. That one scene just gave me chills. And just, oh my God. And then pretty much the picture of Superman as evil, and for the fact that Lois is dead, to kind of prove that Lois Lane is the key, kind of tying back to Batman vs Superman. Just, I want more. I know there's a strong chance that we're not going to get it from Warner Brothers, because they're going to be a pain in the butt and they're not going to give us what we want, as they usually bloody do. But if we do get something more from Zack, which I really hope we do, because this just proves if you give the director the reins to complete his vision, the fans will love it and we will succeed. So this movie, this 4-hour film that we got, should show the studio that if you give your director free rein, especially when it comes to this kind of material, he's proven to you in the past that he is a formidable director. If you give him the freedom to realize his vision, you will get what you want, which is you want people to watch it. You want people to pay money to go see it. This movie shows you what you're going to get. So that just proves it 100% that we are in a society that fans have power to relive their dreams in getting a representation of our superheroes on our screens, in giving good directors the freedom to deliver them. And Zack Snyder is one of them. This movie, I guess a lot of people didn't like Batman vs Superman. And yes, I wasn't a big fan of it when I walked out of the cinema, but watching the Ultimate Edition did make me like it a bit more, because it filled in a lot more of the blanks. And it just shows you yet again, you give the director free rein to put in a bit more of that, of his vision, then he can deliver. And it will provide a better content for the viewers. So, with all that being said, that's my thoughts on that. And I believe that this film will stand the test of time. It's very well shot, very visual, very beautiful, very, very beautiful moments across all of it. I am in love with this film. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I was on my edge of my seat, on my feet the entire way through. Not very often that I can sit through a film and just immerse myself all the way through it without checking my phone or something like that, but I was transfixed. I was so looking forward to it, and it delivered on me 100%. I absolutely loved this film, and what really put the cherry on the top and actually gave me, not tears, but I was on the verge of it, is when the film ended and it says, "For Autumn," which is Zack's daughter. It just hit me. I went, oh my goodness gracious me, Zack. My heart was just bleeding for you, mate. And I really, my heart goes out to you and your family. And I wish you, grief would never subside. We just learn to deal with it each day as it comes along. And this film is a dedication to her, and a dedication to your craft, and just what you are as a filmmaker. And so my heart and my appreciation will always go out to Zack and the filmmakers to making this film and bringing this to the audience that we all demanded it to get. So that's what I have it. So to wrap things up, my rating. Now, it's a big thing to do to rate this film, but I'm going to give this a 9. I would say a 9. A weak kind of 9. Really hard 8.5, but I would give it a 9 out of 10. That one point is just certain things that diminish with me. For example, the constant slow motion scenes, and there are certain scenes that dragged on a little bit that could have been fastened up a bit, but that's the only really much taking I'm getting out of it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I walked out of this film just immersed in this universe and just renewed my faith in the DCEU, and realized that yes, we can get great films. And the fact that I was coming off the back of not enjoying Wonder Woman 1984 as much as I would have liked, this one just restored my faith in the DCEU. So there's always going to be the comparison to the MCU, but even the MCU have fallen short on some of their films. And DCU can do the same. We can't always get them 100% perfect every single time. So that's renewed my faith in this DCEU, and I cannot wait for more to come. Yeah, so I loved it. Absolutely incredible film. I'm so glad I watched it and in all its glory and everything in it. So that's as much as I got for you today. I really appreciate you watching along with this video with me. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Give a like to this video if you like it. Share it along to your friends about what you thought about this film now, and give me some comments. What is your opinions about this film? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Is there certain things about the film that I didn't touch on that you want to raise? Is there certain things that you loved about it? Anything you want. Just what was your opinions and comments about this film? And I'd love to hear about them. So that's as much as I got for you today. Keep being your hero selves. Keep being awesome. And I will check you out at the next video. Goodbye.